From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Rob Westgate. The return of Donald Trump to the White House is causing plenty of headaches for Canada. Now, beyond tariffs, experts are warning that Trump's promise of a foreign policy grounded in American first values will have an even more significant impact. Carleton University professor Fen Hampson says if Trump decides to curtail aid to Ukraine, Canada needs to be prepared.
It's a real problem for us in the sense that, we have a very large Ukrainian diaspora that doesn't want to go soft on Ukraine. But, without American support, and particularly military support, there's no one that can really, pick up the slack.
Hampson says Ottawa should double down on trying to convince Europeans to forfeit frozen assets to help fund the war effort. Meantime, a trio of federal cabinet ministers is in Washington today making a last-ditch attempt to stop U.S. President Donald Trump from imposing economically devastating tariffs on Canadian imports. Foreign Affairs Minister Melanie Joly, Public Safety Minister David McGuinty, and Immigration Minister Mark Miller are all stateside, hoping to win enough support from Republican lawmakers and Trump's own team to help sway the president. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says that if the U.S. moves ahead with tariffs, Canada will respond quickly, adding that every option is on the table. And ready or not, Donald Trump says his 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico will be coming on Saturday. The combative Trump also told reporters yesterday that he'll take the night to decide whether to include oil from those countries as part of his import taxes. Experts warn that the risk of tariffs on Canadian and Mexican oil could undermine Trump's repeated pledge to lower overall inflation by reducing energy costs. Canadian universities say a dramatic decline in international study permits issued last year is crippling their finances. Ottawa says permit approvals for international students fell 40% across the board last year, about 5% greater than its target. Universities Canada CEO Gabriel Miller says it stings.
I think what you've got is the drop in international students is like an earthquake hitting an education system that's already structurally weakened.
Miller says program cuts and layoffs across the country are growing more likely as a result. Canada implemented the cap last year to try easing pressure on housing, healthcare, and other services. And finally, today marks 5 years since Britain left the European Union. People and businesses are still wrestling with the economic, social, and cultural aftershocks of the decision. For businesses, Brexit has meant new red tape, costs, and delays in trading with the 27 EU countries. Brexit supporters argue that the short-term pain will be offset by Britain's new freedom to strike trade deals around the world, though so far they've only had a minor impact. This is the Canadian Press. In sports, Marc-Andre Fleury made 19 saves for his first shutout of the season in what will likely be his final game in Montreal, helping the Minnesota Wild beat the Canadiens 4-0. The 40-year-old is retiring after the season, and each member of the Habs stayed on the ice to shake his hand at the end of the competition. Elsewhere, the Winnipeg Jets downed the Boston Bruins 6-2. The Jets outscored the Bruins 4-1 in the third period, securing a fifth straight victory. The Calgary Flames passed the Anaheim Ducks 4-1. The Detroit Red Wings rally for a 3-2 win over Edmonton, and the Ottawa Senators edged the Washington Capitals 5-4 in overtime. Still on the ice, Montreal beat Toronto 4-3 in the Professional Women's Hockey League. Off-season news from the MLB, the Toronto Blue Jays have added experience to their starting rotation. According to a number of reports, Toronto and veteran right-hander Max Scherzer have agreed to a one-year deal worth $15.5 million U.S. From the Canadian Press, I'm Rob Westgate.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.